So, Square Enix were kind enough to invite me to the last Rebirth event, which was super fun, and though I had a nightmare of a migraine during it, I made sure to experience as much of the game as possible. We were given 4 hours hands-on with the start of the game, and while subject to change, this close to release, I don't think it will, but you never know. And while everybody else has done videos already giving a more general view and opinion, I'm instead going to focus my video a little more onto some really cool things and a few other tidbits as well. I will include some chapters on the video, so feel free to check out sections that you want to, and don't worry, this video will be spoiler free. So, first, let's talk about transmutation, something I always love in games, aka crafting. Now, this is something I only got to experience a tiny bit of. We're given an item transmuter as part of the story, which lets us take raw materials and turn them into items such as potions and antidotes. There are things called transmuter chips found throughout the game which increase our options, and we can level our transmuting skills up to also unlock new things. Now, during the tutorial, it does mention that we can make equipment, accessories, and more using this device. One thing I don't know, however, is if you can find individual item plans. This to me kinda screams of being the way to get the best equipment personally, but that's only a guess. Now, these items that are required to use the transmutation are rather basic and are found in mass out in the world. You'll quite often come across groups of 3 to 5 of these, and I have one tiny nitpick about this. You can't just collect them all by holding one button or by running over them. Instead, you have to press square every time to pick up each individual one. I just feel like we're long past the point of needing quality of life on stuff like this now, but here we are. One thing to note as well, after the first time transmuting a potion, the materials required dropped. So I imagine later in the game, we're going to have a massive abundance of items, which is great because it means you don't have to spend gil on buying simple consumables. Now, other than finding them out in the field, you can also get these items in treasure chests, and even as monster drops. Likewise, during the tutorial, a specific section mentions there are also items that can only be obtained via transmutation. So this is absolutely something you're going to want to stay on top of. As soon as something is available to craft, do it to get the EXP for it. We have no idea when the really good stuff unlocks after all. I also suspect some really good items will be hidden at the new cache locations. These are abandoned buildings and settlements found throughout the map with a few hidden treasure chests in. Now, the transmutation poses an interesting gameplay point though. Do you buy equipment? There are still equipment vendors after all, or do you simply make it? That's a hard question to answer at this point, and all depends on when you unlock the extra recipes. Now, let's talk about something else, and that is the map. Now, maps are designed to do one thing: stop you getting lost. And while it's okay out in the actual areas, albeit could do with a little more detail in my opinion, I was just really not a fan of it in Calm. It's great seeing the buildings and where I am, but no actual floor plan anywhere, so I ended up getting lost in a building with no idea where I was going to get out back to the main street. I know this is a nitpick and a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes, but to me, a map needs to be more functional than actually looking nice. Now, speaking of Calm, this is obviously a very different area compared to the OG7. It's a lot bigger, more places to interact with, etc., and does show they learned their lesson from the overly grey theme in Remake. It is big, colourful, has a couple of stores, and then at this point, nothing else. There's a lot of things that I feel could have been done here, but we only tried the start of the game, so it's entirely possible side quests will populate later or even bring us back here in the future. Otherwise, it would seem like a waste to make it look so nice for the 10 minutes we're actually there. We do get all the tutorials here for shops, folios, and Queen's Blood, which, I'm not gonna lie, what we experienced, it was kind of just thrown at us, like out of nowhere it unlocked. Hopefully in the final release this is different and there's at least an NPC to speak to for it. It was quite literally just waking up one morning and we now have the ability to play Queen's Blood. Of course though, a lot of times at events like this, some things are changed just to give us access to them, something which I assume is the case here. But I just thought I'd mention it anyway. And last but not least, let's talk about the actual exploration. Now, in 7 Remake, you were punished for exploring in that it was a giant waste of time, as there was never anything off the beaten track. Heck, remember the stairway in Shinra HQ? A 45-minute stair climb with no reward, or the train tunnels with no treasure chests if you didn't follow the correct path through the story intended route. This time around, things are a little the same, but a little different. It's hard to explain. So, obviously, the areas are huge, like massively huge. There are the aforementioned cache locations with treasure chests, materials strewn all over the place, and some monsters, which no, I did not check to see if they respawned or not. However, maybe I was unlucky, which is entirely possible, so I only had about an hour exploring around, but I didn't actually find anything of note. No random treasure chests, no big scary monsters that you shouldn't even dream of attacking until the last half of the game. I'm withholding judgment for now though, because I had such a limited experience in the area, and other people absolutely got further than me during the 4 hours. And even then, this was just one location. There are quite a lot more. So, just because there wasn't in this situation, that's not to say there won't be down the line. I do have to admit though, with how big the areas are, I am a little surprised at the attention to detail. Yes, a lot of things are just copy and pasted, but you can tell there was some actual thought into the overall design of the areas and the environments, and I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing what's to come with the full release, especially after that last State of Play trailer. It's no secret that I was not super hyped early on for Rebirth because of some problems I had with 7 Remake. So far, this is a step in the right direction though, to solving, or at least trying to solve, a lot of them. For now though, I am excited to get my hands on the full game, as I have so many questions that need answering story-wise. But for now, if you have any questions about what I experienced, by all means drop a comment and I will get back to you with an answer. Until next time though everybody, I'll see you later.